How much do you know about financial vehicles that could help improve not only your life, but the life of your future generations? Stay tuned. We're talking about that and more in this episode of Entrepreneur Insider. Hey everyone, my name is Tia Robertson. I am the founder of the Black Entrepreneurs Network and the host of this show, Entrepreneur Insider. In this week's episode, I'm excited to introduce you to our featured entrepreneur, Andre Jackson. He is of PHP Agency, an insurance agent and broker, a team leader, very knowledgeable, and has a passion for teaching you and everyone you know about the money game. Stay tuned for this featured interview and let me know what questions you have down below in the show notes. Hey everyone, super excited, to introduce you to our entrepreneur of this week, Andre Jackson, who is a life insurance agent and financial agency owner at PHP Agency. After getting his license, he was surprised how much he was learning about money, how money works, and how the lack of financial education played a part in his financial struggles. He decided to share his knowledge, and over the last 12 years, Andre has helped hundreds of individuals start a part-time career in the life insurance industry while constructing a national distribution pipeline to provide customized financial services to individuals and families across the U.S. Andre wants everyone to learn about the rules of money the rules of the money game and how to start winning financially. Please help me welcome Andre Jackson. How are you doing, Andre?
I am doing great, Tia. How you doing?
I am doing well. I started to call you financial, but that's not your name. All right. So before we learn more about you and your agency, the benefits and services that you offer, can you tell us what was your life like before you learned about money? Have you always been an entrepreneur?
Well, I like to tell people that I grew up in business since the age of 6 because my father, he always went to flea markets and craft shows. But my background, I was a journeyman mechanic. So I literally worked mainly on Fords at Ford car dealerships. And I did that for 20 years. And I loved it, but I noticed most mechanics over the age of 60, they had health and issues, with their back and things and stuff like that. So even though my father, he had his own businesses, when he passed away, I actually continued the business, but we sold spices. So we did that for many, many years, had over 225 different types of spices and flavors. And we shipped and, we traveled to flea markets and craft shows. So, but when he passed away, I finally had a chance just to see how that business was run. It was a great business, but the overhead, there was a lot of overhead with it.
So
So,
did you end up shutting down that business or is someone in your family still running it?
no, I ended up shutting down that business. So, because it was, we didn't like buy spices and just resold them. We was able to, my father, he was able to get in contact with importers. So we would able to get the spices when they came into the country. So they was very fresh. And then we found a couple of co-packers that would grind up the spices for us. So, and prepare them for us. And we paid for the jars, the labels, the seals, and they did all of that. They packed everything. So we sold it. It was a great business. The issue was because we remained small, the companies over the years, the companies didn't want to deal with small business people. They wanted people that's going to buy not $300-400 of one spice, but buy tens of thousands of pounds of one spice. So we weren't there because we was purposely, just keeping it small so we can handle it. And over the time, they stayed in business with me. So they grandfathered me in because they worked with my father for many years, but they started raising up the prices. Where the last year we made 126,000 in sales, but 95,000 of that was overhead, was needed to run the business. So I ended up closing it down because the overhead was so great.
Exactly. Okay. Interesting. All right. So it's great to hear that your experience, is as an entrepreneur as well as an employee. So you're able to really probably relate to the people that you help. So speaking of who you help, can you tell us a little bit more about PHP Agency Charlotte and what services you offer and to who?
Okay, we deal. So we can go in so many different directions, but I like to keep things simple. So first thing first, life insurance. Life insurance is very important. So you can think of us as PHP Agency of more of a broker. So I'm using terms that people will truly understand. A broker. That means we deal with many different carriers. So when I sit down with someone, I'm able to shop around, get the lowest cost product for them, but the best cost customized for them and their family. And we deal with all different types of insurance, whether it's term, return of premium. That means after a few years when you pay your insurance policy, if you're still living and no claim, you get a full refund. So we also have whole life. We have final expense. We have something called LIRP, life insurance retirement planning. And we also do annuities. So people that may have an old 401k, 403b, and they left their job. So they have their old 401k at a previous job. They don't know what to do. Or like right now, a lot of people are losing money in their 401k. We can show them options so they can move that money so they don't have to keep losing money when the stock market is crazy like it's been this year in 2022.
Interesting. Okay. That is great to know. So, who would you say is your target audience? Specific type of person, anyone that's looking for these services? What about someone that doesn't know they need the service? How would you determine who you could help?
So right now, the target market is actually people that worked at a job previously and they have an old 401k or 4 or 3B, especially nurses, because most nurses have more than one job and they'll work like two jobs, but then they'll end up switching jobs.
Okay.
So the big issue is that when you put money in your 401k and your money grows, you're putting in there and it grows. Okay. So, but when you leave that company, a lot of times your money stops growing. And in this environment of market, your money starts losing money. Well, why? Why is it losing money now and wasn't losing money then? Well, then, not even talking about the stock market, you was contributing and put money in your 401k for every paycheck, and your company was matching that. So now when you leave your job, you're no longer putting money in your 401k. Your company is no longer putting money in your 401k. And then, of course, there's fees attached. So now you really get to see how your 401k is growing. I like to say it's growing naked, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not putting any money in there. Nobody is. Now you're starting to see, well, why is my 401k going down? It's been going up so soon. Well, these are the reasons why. Plus, since the stock market has been going up and down, nobody's going to manage your money like you should. Mm-hmm. So you should never leave your old 401k with the previous job because it's just sitting there. I mean, you no longer work with the company. So, and then too, the fees. a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times the fees are discounted when you're working with the company. So
Okay.
when you leave the company, now your fees may go up, and that's exposing, taking more money up out of your 401k. So we sit down with families, plus I'm licensed in 23 states. So we can do the appointment through Zoom if you're not in Charlotte, North Carolina. But we go over where you can put that money. We'll show you how it works, no matter where you put it, whether you use me or not. I'll still show you how your money grows, where you can put it, and which options you have.
Oh, great. Okay. Now, you've actually touched on, while you were telling us about your company, a couple of distinguishing factors about your agency versus people that do something similar, meaning that you personalize your service to the person that you're talking to and you let them know about their options. What other reasons would you tell someone that's watching this program or hear about you? Would you say, hey, you should contact us because we're going to be a little bit different than what you hear out there? What reasons would you tell people that set you, or what things would you say set you apart from other people that provide this service?
Okay, so I have my own agency. So that means my own office. I pay the leads. PHP does not pay it. It's my agency. I own my book of business. So if I want to retire one day, if it's big enough and somebody wants to buy it in the company, they can buy it, or I can pass it on to my family members. That doesn't really happen in the industry. More companies are starting to say they do it because we did it first. But usually you can work for the same company for 30, 40, 50 years. When you leave, that book of business is the company's. So because of that, we have a lot of training involved. So with our company, we have ongoing trainings that we can do, and that helps me better understand the products
Okay.
because we're not in a high sales environment, whereas you got to do these sales, you got to do a certain number of sales, you have to do a certain number of sales. So we're not in that environment, and we're a true broker. Most companies out there, they want to come across, oh, we have 100 different companies that we can look into, but because they only work for that one company, they want everybody to go through the company first. And if they get declined and can't do anything, then maybe you can do the 100 companies. So they can say they work with a lot of companies, but their bread and butter, everything is focused, even their commissions. Their commissions on their products pays out higher than with the other companies. So at the end of the day, the life insurance agent still works for that company, not works for the client. I work for the client.
Okay. Cool. Great to know. Okay. And you kind of mentioned this, but how do you and your team remain informed about industry trends or new product offerings?
Training.
Can you tell us specifically, not specifically what type of training, but how often do you attend training? Is it just for like PHP or like an industry organization that offers insurance training? What type of training?
Okay, so here again, PHP is different when it comes down to the agents. Okay, so usually if you work for a company, they say, okay, give me a top 250 people list, either call your friends and families or purchase leads. So what they do is they train you for maybe 30, 60, 90 days. Great, you're on your own. Okay. They may have training here and there. And most carriers will train for the FMO, right? Will come in and train a lot of times now through Zoom. So they're training those agents on their products. So that happens across the board. But with PHP Agency, we have training twice a week on Tuesdays, evenings, and on Saturdays, mornings. And the reason why we do that, because over 90% of our agents are part-time. So they just do this as a side hustle. But We have training. We probably have 10 different trainings during the week, and you can train on what you need to learn, or if you're working a full-time job, you're doing this on the side, you can train at a time that's convenient for you. So because we educate people on the rules of money and how money works, it's more important for us to educate the client on the product. And the reason why is, if you don't know what you have, you're not going to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to use it. You're going to let it go. So a quick story. When I was about 21, 22 years old, and my father told me, Andre, you're going to get married one day. You need life insurance. Okay. So of course I'm 56 years old. So back at that time, when our parents told us to do something, we just did it, right? No questions asked. Not like now, right? Why? But so a life insurance agent came. We was at the flea market. Life insurance guy came to the flea market. My father says, here, this is the life insurance guy. So my father, he already talked to the life insurance agent, already got a $250,000 policy on me. Now I'm paying for it. So he already had all of that done. So when the guy came in, he said, okay, here, sign here. I'm 21, 22 years old. He just said, sign it. The premium's going to be like $200 a month, which I thought was expensive. Oh, of course I could afford it. I was working, right? And I've always had money. So that wasn't an issue. So great. I signed up. I got the policy. So when I got married, money was getting tight. So guess what I did? Well, there was money. I had that policy for about 7 years. Okay. I had about $7,000 in there that I could take out. So I took out the money because we needed the money. I just let the policy lapse. I wasn't going to pay the premiums. So when I got into the industry, I found out what type of policy I was paying and why it cost so much, because I was overfunding the policy. So if I would have kept that policy, I would have had around $300,000 to $350,000 in my cash value right now. Excuse me. But he never educated me on the policy. So I didn't even know.
Yeah. So that you bring up a really good point. So the training that you mentioned earlier is for your agents, but it's so that they can share information and educate their clients and customers to make better informed choices, correct?
Exactly, because nobody in our community is teaching us about money.
Exactly. Okay.
They're just not. And when we make a lot of money, because we're so afraid to lose it, first of all, we don't want to share how we make that money.
Right.
So we definitely need to share that with other people.
Yeah,
but when we come across something that can help everybody make and save money, so when the market goes down, they're not losing all their money. And then if a family emergency happens, they already have money, whether it's in the bank, whether it's in life insurance, money that's liquid. So the only liquidity that we had was that shoe that we learned from our parents, was that shoe box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that Crown Royal bag. You know what I mean? Yeah. That people used to put money in a Crown Royal bag and used to hide it.
Yeah. So do you or any of your agents actually offer, like webinars or lunch and learns and things like that for people to learn more about money and different options?
Yes, we do. So we have that often. We sometimes we have sometimes we have it specifically for women, like women and mimosas. We have families. We do here and there. The different ones, whether what we do a lot of too, because we like to eat. So we have a 1,200 square foot office in Charlotte. So we invite people out to the office. We got a big whiteboard on there, and we educate and we encourage questions to be asked.
Great.
But what we do also is we invite people over to our home, feed them food, things like that. And we educate them there too, because they're, in a nice environment, but we get the message out. And yes, that is something.
How can people find out when you do have those events? Are they posted on your Facebook page or is it just by invitation only, or how can people find out about those?
So for those, those are posted. So we're just getting back and doing that, because of COVID. So we're just getting back to doing that, and then that'll be posted on Facebook, on Eventbrite, and Instagram.
Okay.
So those will be posted for, to learn about money. For if you're looking to get into the industry, if you want to know, you can hit me up, and we have webinars on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. That's Eastern time, and Fridays. We'll just have to send you the link because we just don't post the link. So first you have to request that you would like to join the webinar, and we do that. And we have it twice a week at our office on Saturdays at 10 a.m. and at Tuesdays at 10 a.m. If you come to the office, it's business attire. This is not a casual. I mean, you can do it on the side, but the environment is a business environment. And
all right, perfect. So we talked about your agency and what you offer and what kind of distinguishes you that or makes you different than some of the other insurance agents and brokers that are out there. And we talked about how one of the distinguishing factor is that, your agents and people that are on your team and yourself go through training. But one of the things we haven't discussed yet, and I want to hear from you, is, it seems like when people post ways to make money or start a side hustle, insurance comes up very frequently as a get rich quick option or something just to kind of do. How do you feel when you see those posts? Do you encourage people to really learn more about what's involved with the industry before deciding that they want to become an agent, or should they just kind of respond to some of those posts that are out there that says, "Hey, we'll teach you and you'll make thousands of dollars next month"? Like, what do you think about that?
So I'm one of those people that believe in doing your own research. Okay. And this was what my wife did to me. When we met on Black People Meet, so we met online, but she did a background check on me. But see, she just didn't Google. She paid a fee to have it done right. A lot of us want to just Google and get that information. You have to remember, people like to complain. So it doesn't matter. People complain about McDonald's, right? But McDonald's is still around. With Apple, people complain about their Androids, their iPhones. It doesn't matter. So if you're going to do your research, you have to take your time and do real research. So I'm real big on that. But it takes hard work. It depends. First of all, it depends how much money that you want to make. Okay. If you want to make a lot of money, there's people in PHP that was in 4 months made 100,000. It's rare, okay, but you can make 100,000 depending on your work ethic within the first 12 months, maybe within the first 24 months. With me, I started part-time. I did it on the side. I was in between marriages at that time. So it was just me. So I did it part-time. When I needed money, I sold 2-3 policies, made 3-4 grand. And I did that for 6 years. And I just lived off of that because it was just me. I could. But once I got remarried, I had to go full time. So we moved from a year and a half later, we moved from Chicago to Charlotte. We didn't know anybody. Now, yes, I've been with the company probably almost 10 years at that time. You know, I understand the products and everything, but within 2.5 years of not knowing anybody, I was able to get my income up to $120,000 in 1 year. Well, so when we moved out here in year 2020, my first $100,000 was year 2020. So, and that just being here 3 years.
Okay.
So, but again, too, you have to look at the overhead. A
Mhm.
lot of companies, you're buying leads. We don't deal with leads here.
Okay.
Okay.
And so I really applaud you for actually building a team and starting an agency, because a lot of people don't know that is an option, right? They think they have to work alone as an insurance agent. And so can you tell us, what are the benefits of joining a team like yours for anyone that may be interested and they hear this interview or watch this interview, or this is shared with them? What is a requirement of joining your team? Or do you recommend they just reach out to you and you can answer any questions and tell them a little bit more specific?
Well, definitely please reach out to me. I can get in details, how much it costs, because, well, just to get your license is generally $500 or less. You know what I mean? Even if you want to get it up on your own, it's going to cost about that.
Okay.
You know, depending on your state. Okay. So when you get started with us, you know, it's about the same because we get discounts here and there. So, but this is your business. Okay. With PHP Agency, you own your book of business. I met somebody who's been in the industry for 30 years. Her father was in industry and a top salesman for 50 years. And they both worked together. When he died, they allowed her to manage her book of business, but you get something, it's called earns. So we just don't get paid once. We get paid ongoing. So her father was getting paid six figures more, okay, on that book of business. She didn't get paid on that book of business. Why? Because the book of business is the company's, not hers. With PHP Agency, whatever you do and your team does, okay, that override you receive is yours. If you want to pass it on to a family member or one of your kids, you can do that. So that's the biggest thing. It is there. Here, I would share with you, if you want to know about any other company, what information I have, I can share, because we're not a good fit for everybody. But I've met way too many people growing up who had a great business. There was this jury guy. He had a great business, a great jury business, right? But when he got sick, he had to close down the business. I had one guy, he had his own agency, his own life insurance agency, but it wasn't structured and had systems like PHP Agency. So he got Lyme disease, and he had about 10 agents, you know, across the United States. So he went into a coma for like 3 months. And when he said he got out of the coma and then rehab, his business was gone because his agents didn't know what to do without him. Okay. So I had a serious illness last year. Okay. And I wasn't able to get out and connect with my agents as much as I used to, because we had systems in place. They still had training. I didn't have to do all the training. If they had questions, they had other people in the company that they can speak to help for questions. So PHP Agency is one of those businesses, is that if you're the main driver and for some reason you can't be the main driver, your business, your team can still grow. Everything can still function even though you're not able to get hands on. And I haven't seen that with any other company out there, which is a big deal because, things does happen.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. Thank you so much. And marketing is really important. And I always kind of mention that it's easy to see from people that go to industry events or networking events that professionals such as insurance agents or coaches regularly attend and joined not just networking organizations, but industry organizations as well. What is it about networking for you and PHP Agency and its benefits that you understand and, you know, strive to achieve those benefits that maybe a lot of business owners don't understand about either joining networking organizations, going to networking events, joining industry organizations? What is it that you understand that maybe some business owners just don't understand about the power of networking and how it can help their business?
Okay, so one of the biggest mistakes people do when they go to networking events, they go to networking event to sell their products.
Mhm.
That's what they do. Okay. I go to networking events to build relationships.
Absolutely.
Okay. Because see, it's hard. It doesn't matter what you sell. It's hard to get out there and sell your product because first of all, whether you like it or not, you have a market. Okay. And you may not always know your market. Now I can say, right? I can say that, well, as long as when you're born 2 weeks old, you can get a policy, right? Until 85 years old. So everybody is my market. Everybody is not my market.
Mm.
So just me standing here, my market is people that believe in life insurance and are looking for someone to get life insurance from. That's my market. Now, when I go post on social media, whether I do something on, and I have to get better on TikTok, but once I put something on Facebook, on Instagram about life insurance, and if you have insurance through your job, did you know that job insurance may not pay out if you're not on the time clock? A lot of people don't know that,
Interesting.
right? If when you leave that job, it's group insurance, so it stays with the company. A lot of people don't know that. So I teach, but building relationships is a big deal because that's how you get a good client. You don't get a good client from cold calling and calling somebody up on the phone. First of all, I don't like cold calling. I don't like people calling me. I
Right.
had a ton of people calling me talk about a used car warranty. My daughter got those calls and she wasn't even driving yet. So
Okay.
just building relationships is what you have to realize. And again, we invite people over to our house. Most people don't do that, but we want to get to know people anyway. It's just not all about let me see who can help me sell insurance.
Absolutely.
Okay. Uh,
Absolutely.
we met a guy a few years ago. We were talking about golf. Okay.
Okay.
Because my daughter, she plays golf. She hasn't played in years, but she know how to play golf. Well, he was saying that, there's a ton of scholarships. If you're playing golf at a golf course on a regular basis, or even if you work there as a caddy, you can ask
Okay.
people at the golf course, is there any scholarships available? A lot of times they are. People that play golf has money.
Exactly.
So if there's no criteria, you know what I mean? You're just, hey, you get the scholarship, it can pay for your full ride of college. See, so networking and just building relationships and getting to know people, that's what the wealthy people do.
Absolutely.
So that it goes a long way, just not for your growth in business, but your growth in mindset and your growth financially.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, that is so true.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
And you mentioned your social media, and we're going to share it down in the show notes.
Mhm.
But can you tell us you're on Facebook, Instagram, and I think I have seen you on TikTok. What are the social media platforms you're on, so we can make sure we
On
people.
Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, TikTok. I haven't done in a while. I have to get back to that. I teach my team to do it, and they've been killing it. They've been doing great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Okay.
it's easy to say, but again, if you
Yeah.
want to make six figures or more, you just have to be consistent in doing it.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
consistency is definitely king. But, like you said, it's all a matter of being organized and getting to that point and making sure you're sharing good content when you're consistent, right? Not just doing it for the sake of doing it. So,
Correct.
but yeah, I totally understand. So we'll make sure that we share in the show notes the links to find you on social media. So that way people can continue to learn and find you and discover your events, ask you questions.
Mhm.
Um, Before we close, what advice would you give someone, particularly a person of color, about running a business?
Okay, so don't. So one thing I learned at a younger age that many people told me: when you're running a business, and if you want to run a business with other people, if you need people to be a part of your business because of money, okay, don't don't get in business with people. How can I say this? If you have a business, and let's say you need 50, 60 grand, okay, for that, and you couldn't get a loan, so you have to find somebody, okay, if they're on your income level, don't borrow money from them, because they're going to need that money and they're going to ask you for it. You have to find somebody, that you have to find a millionaire, somebody who, if you don't, if the business goes bust, they're still your friend. They understand. Okay. If you give business advice, when you talk to people about money, if you make $100,000, talk to people that make $250,000, $500,000. Don't talk your cousins and your sisters and your parents, and they never owned a business before, or their business was never successful. My father, he had a business a long time, and I love them to death. But I know now I wouldn't go to him for business advice, because he really never made over $100,000 a year. When he passed away, I took the business over $100,000 a year. But then I found out how much it costs for the overhead.
Yeah.
So I can give people advice. My father couldn't give them the good advice because he hasn't never done it before.
Right.
So we have to, again, go out there and forming relationships.
Absolutely.
Find a relationship with a senator, right? Because when most people get into politics, they become millionaires, right? Because they in business, they understand the systems, how all of that stuff works, permit, the different types of commercial insurance you have, all that stuff. You have to find somebody who's running a legitimate business, okay? Whether they have a team or employees, not a one-on-one sole proprietorship, okay? Because again, they're just running that one business. If they don't have 10 employees or more, or team members, whether they're doing life insurance, whether they're a realtor, whether they're a law firm. If they're a law firm, don't speak to the attorneys, speak to the partners, right? If you talk about real estate, don't talk to the real estate agent, speak to the broker. So you just have to remember who you are talking to. And with our company, we have seminars, we have meetings online, we have two conventions twice a year. One will cost me like $200-300 for a ticket,
Yeah.
which is nothing. But if you don't have that type of support and systems, spend $3, $4, $5,000 and get in front of people who want to help you and show you how to build your business. You have to invest in your business. So if
Absolutely.
you're not willing to do that, you're not going to grow your business.
Absolutely. That is great advice. Thank you. Yeah, I recently saw pictures from your recent convention. So cool. Well, thank you so much, Andre, for spending this time telling us about PHP
May
Agency.
I share
Yeah.
one more thing too? So with our company too, of course, I did mention we are looking for people that want to get into the industry. But PHP Agency, yes, we are the fastest growing FMO out there. The official name is
Yeah.
Financial Marketing
Okay. Perfect.
Organization. I
Mhm.
say broker that because that's what everybody knows. So we are the fastest in the United States. Uh, we went from 66 agents to 209 to over 20,000 licensed agents. But we are the most multicultural company in the industry. We're 44% Hispanic, which is brown skin, right? 32% black. And then white is like only 14%. And then the rest goes from there. So
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate everything you've shared with us about PHP Agency, including the demographic makeup, because that does make a difference in making us feel like we're in a community that's for us and helping us grow, but letting us know also about who you can help and who you can teach about money, which is pretty much everyone. Thank you for telling us the benefits of, joining your agency, as well as marketing and how important that is to your business. So we encourage everyone that's watching this program to contact Andre for more information about anything that he shared. Definitely like, follow, and share him on all social media and share him with your community. Andre, thank you so much for this time that you've spent with us this afternoon, and I hope that you have a great day.
thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
For more information about Andre, PHP Agency, getting life insurance, learning more about the financial vehicles that are available to you, joining his team, or anything else that was mentioned, be sure to reach out to Andre today. All of his information is posted in the show notes down below. Like, follow, and share him with your community, because I promise, even if you don't need his services, someone that you know absolutely does. Now, if you'd like to be featured in an upcoming episode or sponsor one, be sure to email me at info@theblackentrepreneurssnetwork.com. As always, the show is brought to you in partnership with Relationship Entertainment Television. Have you downloaded them on the Roku app? Be sure to do that. Visit them on the website, and of course, like and subscribe here on YouTube. Now, for more information about Entrepreneur Insider, you can reach out to me today. And until next time, don't forget, be great. Peace.
Tune in to Millionaire Man Cave, only on Relationship Entertainment Television, Tuesdays at 8 p.m.
This is Tyron
and Nicole with your weekly RATV news break.
Each Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, we'll come to you with the latest news, trends, and more with a positive spin.
We know there's a lot of positive news that doesn't get reported, but we want to give you the opportunity to share your story here on RETV. If you have a positive news story you want us to share, you can submit your story to news@re-tv.net.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Relationship Entertainment Television YouTube channel. Download the new RETV Live app on your mobile device and follow Relationship Entertainment Television on your favorite social media platform.
Don't forget, make sure you tune into the RETV News Break each Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Until then, be blessed and be great.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On? Hey, it's your girl Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. Right here on RETV. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.